Hi, shalom friends. Do you remember those days of school when you realized you didn't have your homework and you had to scramble for an excuse? And you were pretty desperate. And there was the usual, almost trite, I lost it. That didn't get you very far. Sometimes it was a little bit melodramatic, like, I wanted to do the homework, but mom was very busy, my sister was sick, and I'm really sorry. Or creative. I had the homework with me, I was looking at it in the bus, and the anti-Semite took it. And after a while, you run out of excuses, and you dread this, and it's really difficult. But I have good news for you. All of that creative thinking that we did as children has crystallized to the perfect excuse we use as an adult. We don't have to struggle with it anymore. It's a built-in excuse, only a couple of words, sometimes as little as 2 or 3. And it works for everything. It works like, how come you didn't have your report ready? To, why didn't you come to shul? It works like, why don't you ever call your mom? To stuff like, everyone's volunteering except for you. Are you intrigued? What is that excuse that works for just about everything? Okay, I won't keep you in suspense. The excuse is, I'm busy. I was busy. Sorry, I'm very busy. And variations. A spin-off is, don't have the time. And it's amazing how this has become our excuse for life itself. So why didn't we do what we should do? We're just simply too busy. And why are we less professional than we should be? Because we have no time. Because we're too busy, and so on. Now, the obvious question is, what are you so busy with? I know that many people have answers. I, unfortunately, usually come up with an honest answer with nothing. But then, that got me thinking, how can you be busy with nothing? I mean, after all, nothing means nothing, right? No existence, no distraction. There's nothing to distract you. How can you be busy with nothing? And of course, we could spin this in a humorous way, in a philosophical way. Ultimately, it's ridiculous. You can't be busy with nothing. But actually, I have a much more fundamental question. Let's say you are busy with something worthwhile. For example, I'm busy with business. I'm busy with projects. I'm busy with shopping. I'm busy with recreation. I was busy with taking extra courses. That still wouldn't answer the question of, it would answer the question with what you're busy with, but it wouldn't really give credence to the excuse, I was busy, because you have to ask yourself, to whom do you owe your busyness? Now, let me switch gears with you and share with you a charming story. They say, in the turn of the 20th century, there was a Jew from we'll call him Mr. Broad, came from a Jewish town and had a dream from an early age that he wanted to be a doctor. Not many opportunities, a lot of resistance from family, a lot of resistance from the climate, a lot of anti-Semitism, and this Mr. Bro did the impossible. He left his home, he managed to get into a school, into a gymnasium, and after years of tremendously hard work, excuse me, he actually received a degree, an MD. Now, what is he going to do with this MD? So he moves to Bialystok, which is a large city, and he takes a loan, and he rents a house. And the first thing he does very proudly is hang up a big sign, Dr. Brod. And he's in his room, and he's waiting for his first patient. And it didn't take long to realize that no patients were coming to him. One day passed, and a second day passed, and here's a man that's so capable. So he realized he has to do something. So he began to ask around, who is the most competent doctor or a most competent doctor? They told him Dr. Schwartz. Figures he's going to ask Dr. Schwartz for some professional advice. Towards the end of the day, when most people are closing their stores, he comes to Dr. Schwartz's waiting room, and he was surprised there were still people waiting. This man was really busy. He says to the receptionist, "I'd like to see Dr. Schwartz. I'm a colleague. It's something very important. It won't take very long." So they let him in. He introduces himself as a young doctor, Dr. Brode, and Dr. Schwartz, "I have no patients. What am I doing wrong?" She said, "You're not doing anything wrong, but patients like referrals, and patients like experience, and it's really going to take a long time for you to develop a clientele. There's no shortcut." He said, "But doctor, this is like a vicious cycle. The only way I could develop a reputation is by treating patients, but the only way I could get patients is by the reputation. Well, how do I start?" So Schwartz thinks for me, says, "I have a very good advice for you. Listen to me. You have a doctor's bag?" He said, "Certainly." In those days, doctors still made home visits. He said, "This is what you should do. Put on your white coat. Walk around with your doctor's bag. Make sure you wear a very distinguished-looking hat. And walk in the business section and in the markets. People will stop you and say, be polite. They'll say, good morning, doctor. And what you should do is walk very briskly and say, good morning, sir. I'm Dr. Brode. I'm really sorry. I would love to chat, but I'm very busy." He said, "That will bring me patience?" He said, "With a smile, try it." So the next day, Dr. Brode gets dressed up very ostentatiously. His uniform says, "Doctor," and he starts walking briskly down the street. And to his surprise and delight, people are actually quite respectful to doctors. "Good morning, doctor. Good morning, doctor." And to all, he gives a cheery, "Good morning, but I have no time to chat. Dr. Brode, I'm very busy." It sounded hollow to him, but it seemed that the people expected that of a doctor. The entire day, he's walking around. He must have met tens of people with the same response. "Dr. Brode, I'd love to chat with you. I'm sorry, I'm just very busy." Of course, when after doing this 3-4 days, people who had met him chance upon one and say, "Did you see a new fellow that just walked, a new doctor? Seems to be very busy. Have you heard of him?" Another one says, "Well, I don't know. He looked very competent. I think he was going to a patient." And you know how it is. One person starts talking about the new doctor. Another one adds, "What a great doctor." The third one says, "I know someone that was treated by him and he could cure the dead." And little by little, the word spread that a very competent doctor who's always busy, and people began to vie. They began to line up, clamoring to see the new doctor. And yes, in this charming story, it did not take more than 6 months when Dr. Brode actually had a waiting room filled with waiting patients. Dr. Brode now didn't have to act. He was always busy. One day, he's walking in the street, and Dr. Schwartz happens to see him and shouts, "Dr. Brode, good morning, how you doing?" And Dr. Brode, without really thinking much, sees the doctor, says, "I'm doing well, thank you. I'm really very busy. I'm sorry I have no time to chat." And Dr. Schwartz begins to laugh. He says, "1 second, Dr. Brode, I'm the one that gave you this advice. I'm the one that made you busy. Don't turn against me with you're busy." And I think that this is a wonderful story. When you're busy running to cater to your clients, ask yourself, who gave you the clients? If you're busy taking care of the children, ask yourself, who gave you the children? If you're too busy to call your mother, ask yourself, who gave you life? Friends, it's not right to use the excuse, "I have no time for God," when God is the one that gives us things that make us busy. So, when are you going to the next class? I know, I can hear the answer, "Rabbi, I'm so busy." And you say, that's a good reason to go to the class. You're so busy, shouldn't you spend some time investigating the good Lord that gave you what to be busy with? So I'll end with something rather corny. And that is, give God the time of day, and He will give you a day. Less corny and more mystical. God creates time. Actually, the more you fill your day, your busy day, with godly energy, in a strange way, you're able to create more time. So to go back to the beginning of this talk, if you're busy with nothing, you will find that you really don't have much time for anything. If you're busy with a lot of substantial things, somehow time has a way of opening up for you. And a godly day filled with godly moments allows you to actually create a complete godly day. So shalom, good luck in time management.